The Nigeria Stock Exchange today hosted market stakeholders and capital market correspondents to its 2018 market review and 2019 outlook. It was an opportunity for the CEO of the exchange to give a recap of developments in 2018 and what will be the key areas to look at in 2019 as it affects the market ecosystem.
At the start of the year 2018, we anticipated that the NSE market performance during the year would largely be driven by the following factors: higher global oil prices and domestic production. Oil prices recovered strongly to over $80 per barrel during the year. However, it did not sustain an uptrend as predicted, taking a dive in the later half of 2018, raising uncertainty in oil price projections for 2019 and beyond. Domestic oil production receded in the second quarter, dropping to 1.84 million barrels per day, as against 2 million barrels per day in the previous quarter, that's the first quarter of 2018. However, as at third quarter 2018, production inched back up to approximately 2 million barrels per day, resulting in a 3% increase in oil revenues for the federal government from the corresponding period of the previous year. Greater stability and transparency in the Nigeria's FX markets. As we predicted, we witnessed relatively stable foreign exchange domestically with mild volatility and depreciation on the NSE FX window as against the parallel market during the year. The Nigerian NSE exchange rate started the year at 360 naira to the dollar and closed at 364 naira to the dollar, a deviation of 1.11%. Fiscal stimulus for planned increase in infrastructure spend. Projections of heavy government borrowings to finance the planned infrastructure spend were validated as the federal government listed 1.16 trillion naira in debt in 2018, alongside raising Eurobonds totaling $5.36 billion within the year. Stronger global economy and synchronized expansion in global investment, trade, and manufacturing. During the year, global economic expansion was strengthened by trade tensions as well as political tensions in the United States, United Kingdom, and the Middle East, a deviation from our expectations. 2019 outlook. Moving into 2019, the International Monetary Fund forecasts global economic growth at 3.7%, emerging markets and developing economies to grow at 4.7%, and sub-Saharan Africa projected at 3.8%. Nigeria is expected to grow at 2.3% in 2019, making it the highest real GDP growth estimate over the last 3 years. Brexit talks, US-China trade tensions, and possible slowdowns in the global economy are some of the external factors that may impact NSE market performance in 2019. We expect that the stable economic activity across emerging markets, following a stalled rally in the US dollar, and expectations of stronger fundamentals within Nigeria's frontier market securities will be favorable to the Nigerian market. Domestically, we believe market sentiments in the first half of the year will be driven by uncertainty in oil prices as well as the 2019 general elections. Accordingly, we anticipate volatility in equity markets in the first half of 2019 with enhanced stability post-elections. We believe swift approval and implementation of the 2019 budget will have a positive impact on companies' earnings as well as consumer spending. Therefore, we expect a return of primary market activity with an uptick in secondary market activity during the second half of 2019. The NSE's focus for 2018 has been on organization restructuring, customer centricity, market development, and innovation. We expect to advance our efforts in these areas in the coming year and capitalize on the milestones reached thus far. In 2019, we will continue executing on our 2018 to 2021 strategy, working even more closely with our stakeholders, particularly our market intermediaries, to onboard new financial instruments and maximize organizational value. To enhance our listing prospects, we have strengthened our government engagement efforts on privatization and listing of state-owned enterprises, and we expect to take advantage of opportunities within this space during the year. We also intend to maintain our collaborative efforts with private and public sector stakeholders to advocate for market-friendly policies and cater to infrastructure financing needs, as well as other capital requirements necessary for sustainable economic growth.
Mr. Oscar Oyema entertained questions on issues like attracting more listings in 2019 and addressing market manipulation, amongst others.
Companies list and companies delist. What are we doing to keep companies listed? We're trying to make sure that we continue to give them value. And as long as they can extract that value, they will stay listed. This year, there was something we introduced. It's called Dear CEO letters, where I sent letters to CEOs of all the listed companies. And we explained some of the areas of attention that we want to focus on from a regulatory perspective. And we encourage them to engage with us should they have any doubt as to how to comply with some of these requirements. We are very mindful of the burden of compliance, and so we're trying to reduce the burden of compliance for regulated entities. We're trying to make sure that we work with these companies to handhold them and help them comply, because we're not interested in issuing our fines. We're interested in making sure that companies report their financials on time, that they're very transparent, and that they follow our post-listings rules and requirements. And so we're trying to work with them to make sure. We believe that when you look at companies that are actually delisting, most of them are struggling with meeting the post-listing standards. And so by helping them to comply, we're also helping them to stay listed and to continue to benefit from being listed entities. Market manipulation. We do have a whistleblower portal. We encourage anybody that knows of any market manipulation to report to us. You can come to us in person. You can report anonymously. We assure you that we investigate all submissions to that portal, and we do follow through. In fact, just last week we received a commendation from one of the listed companies where we actually followed a trail to the logical conclusion. So it is not productive to just come up and say there's manipulation. Give us, and we'll go after it, and we'll make sure that we address whatever issues. You should know also that in Nigeria, market manipulation is actually a criminal offense, and so we have partnerships with entities such as EFCC. So if we actually find cases of market manipulation, we take them to the FCC to address the criminal aspects of things while we address administrative aspects of things.
One major takeaway from the NSE 2018 market recap and outlook for 2019 is that the general elections and the crude oil price will constitute part of the drivers to watch, while stakeholders will expect key listings, an aggressive strategy to woo back retail investors, and the markets to close positively at the end of the year.